Hi, my name is Tara Sleet and I'm one of your Hy-Vee dietitians. Today we're going to be talking about packing a power lunch. We are going to go through the components of a healthy lunch and the importance of planning and preparing that lunch, as well as some simple solutions. Why is lunch so important? Lunch is a great time to refuel midday, to refuel your brain, to refuel your body. Eating a balanced midday meal helps set you up for a productive rest of your workday or school day. A power lunch also helps us to continue to stay energized and make the most of our afternoon. Consuming the right foods in the afternoon at lunch is also very important. So be mindful of moderate portions and making sure you include a variety of different food groups. So some foods that you really want to focus on including in your lunch. It's important to aim for getting portion size amounts of several different food groups. At the top of the list is going to be getting a good protein source in your lunchbox. Here's a few quick protein options that you can toss in there. When it comes to protein, choosing lean options is going to be one of the best things you can do. So here's a few examples that are shelf stable and would be nice things to maybe have tucked in your desk or things you could pull out easily. These are those little peanut butter packs that are a good source of plant-based protein. We have our tuna packets here. I just love these because they're so simple. They're already flavored. Here's the garlic and herb that you can just, again, toss on a salad, put in a pita pocket, have a really good option there for you. And then there's some of these Nix sticks. These are available in our health market. Again, shelf stable, lean source of protein, as well as the Vermont uncured turkey sticks. Hummus is another really good option that is a nice source of that plant-based protein. So you want to get that lean protein source on your plate. Secondly, vegetables. We have to have our color. Color is going to give us those nutrients we need as well as the fiber we need to keep us full. So while protein is keep holding us over from one meal to the next, it's that satiety food, takes a long time to break it down, that the fruits and vegetables, the color on our plate is what is going to fill us up. So we want to try and aim to have half of that plate or half of your box or bowl filled with color. Those are your fruits and vegetables. Think berries, vegetables like our shortcuts here are a really nice option as well. Make it easier on yourself to be successful here. And then third, we want to have a whole grain. So whole grains are another one of our fiber foods, and I just pulled a couple options just to kind of give you guys some ideas on how to incorporate those. I love this bread. This is Dave's Killer Bread. It's really hearty and grainy, great source of fiber. The important thing about our grains is choosing those whole grain options. They're less processed. It takes your body more energy to break them down. They're also more filling. A couple other options here to think about. These are some pita pockets. These are whole wheat pita pockets. We're going to be making a couple recipes here shortly that you could actually utilize these pita pockets for. One being our Greek chicken. You know, day 2 or 3, it'd be great to put kind of just stuff a pita pocket with this recipe that we're making. Another one, these flat out wraps that are available right by our deli. This is a carb down flat out wrap, so it's a whole grain source. You can see just how like soft they are. So they work really well as a roll up. All right. So for our recipes that we're going to be preparing today, we're going to make 3 power lunch options. These recipes are things that you could make ahead or even make on the fly and use as lunch options for the week. So the first recipe that we're going to be making is our Greek chicken. So what you're going to need for the Greek chicken recipe is some boneless, skinless chicken breast. You're going to need some lemons, some olive oil, Greek yogurt, oregano, garlic. I like to use this minced garlic. I just find it really simple to keep in the refrigerator and pull it out when I need it. You're gonna need some olive oil, red wine vinegar, as well as cucumber. This is an English cucumber, some red onion and tomatoes. And this is gonna be something where those 2 are optional. I always think the more vegetables you can get into that meal, the better. So I'd really encourage you to give those a try, or maybe incorporate some other vegetables that you would like. And then a whole grain or brown rice. as well as some dill. So I got the fresh dill from the produce department. I think the flavor is just more powerful, and you really taste it that way. All right, so for this recipe, we're gonna be making this in 3 parts. This is maybe the most involved recipe that we're making, so if you're considering this one, I would encourage you to maybe think about doing meal prep with this. I love this recipe to make maybe on like a Saturday or Sunday when you have a little bit of time, and then prep out 3 or 4 lunch menus so you're headed into the week set up for success. So for the first part of this recipe, we're gonna be making the marinade for our boneless, skinless chicken breast. So I just have that put into this dish here. For the marinade, we're gonna start with a 1/4 cup of olive oil. We're gonna put a little oregano. 1 tablespoon of oregano. We're gonna do 1 tablespoon, I'm gonna grab a spoon here. We're gonna do 1 tablespoon of that minced garlic. Now this again is to your taste preferences. So if you like garlic, you could do a little more. If you're not a big fan, then you could do a little less. And then we have plain Greek yogurt. So this plain Greek yogurt there's absolutely no sugar other than what's naturally occurring in that dairy. So it's a great source of protein. This is also something that is going to taste somewhat like sour cream unless it's used in a recipe. So we are going to be using that. This is a light way to, you can also use this Greek yogurt to replace ingredients like mayo or sour cream in other recipes. All right, so next we need a tablespoon of our red wine vinegar. I'm just gonna pour that straight in here. All right, and we need a little bit of cracked pepper and salt to taste, and some of our lemon. So this is just a fresh lemon. I went ahead and cut this in half. I'm just going to juice it straight into here, which sometimes is a little dangerous because it will squirt you, but all right. So we got the lemon in there, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a mix. You wanna get that chicken completely covered so that it will marinate. And this needs to marinate for 20 minutes, even up to 12 hours. So if you wanted to put this in its marinade, even in like maybe a gallon-sized Ziploc or something like that, I'm gonna flip it over so all of it gets covered real well. And then put it in the refrigerator and just let it hang out in that marinade for a while and get it nice and flavored up before you cook it. So after you do that, let it marinate again 20 minutes all the way up to about 12 hours. You're going to heat your skillet to medium-high. Put just a little bit of either maybe canola oil or even Pam spray in the bottom of it. And then you're just going to cook it until kind of brown on that first side, about 3 or 4 minutes, flip it over another 3 or 4 minutes or until it's cooked through. And then you're ready to go there. So I'm gonna get this out of the way. Once you've cooked that chicken, it'll look something like this here, which I've just done a few minutes ago. Okay, so we have our chicken ready to go now. So the second thing we need to prep for this recipe is our cucumber salad. So that's what I've started here. So we have 2 English cucumbers diced up and put into here. Next, we're going to use lemon again. Oops. Okay, so we're going to do juice from a lemon. Got me that time. Okay. So some lemon in there. We're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm just gonna eyeball this here. 1, 2. All right. We need 1 tablespoon of that red wine vinegar again. We're using a lot of the same ingredients as we used in that marinade for kind of the sauce for our salad. We need a little bit of garlic and a little bit of oregano. So for the oregano, we're gonna do a teaspoon here. And we also need a teaspoon of garlic. So I'm going to use that same minced garlic, which is just so handy to have on hand and be able to pull out. Okay, so then we have that. We're going to give this all a quick stir. And again, this is something that you can make ahead because the longer it sits in this kind of sauce dressing we just made here, the more flavor those cucumbers take on. So we're gonna move that out of the way for a second. So then our last step for this recipe here is going to be to make our tzatziki sauce. So for this, we need, again, one of those little containers of that plain Greek yogurt. Which again is an excellent source of protein. Kind of tastes like sour cream though. We even use this sometimes, like if you're going to do like a loaded baked potato night or something like that, we'll use this in place of sour cream so that we're just getting like a punch of nutrition and protein with that meal. Okay, so we have that. Then we're going to add some of our English cucumber finely diced. So for the cucumber salad, I like the extra fiber on the cucumber, so I just went ahead and left that, but for the tzatziki, I went ahead and peeled the cucumber for this one. We're using a little bit of garlic again, and we're using some dill. This would also be a really great dish to make if you have a garden, because all of these things are just seem to have done great in the garden this year. Okay, so now we're gonna add a little bit more lemon to this. Oops. All right, so juice from this lemon here. There we go. And then you're gonna give that a quick stir. Add a little cracked pepper or salt to taste if you'd like. Okay, and then from there, all you have to do is, I made this super simple, and I just got this Minute brown wild rice blend. And I opted for the brown wild blend because the fiber is just a little bit higher. And remember, that fiber is that component that's really gonna fill you up with those meals. So every gram of fiber counts. So you're gonna notice the difference when you're starting to choose those foods that are a little higher in fiber. So now we're ready to assemble. So, something to think about investing in if you don't already have these are some sort of meal prep containers. Now, I just grabbed these from the home aisle of Hy-Vee, and these are plastic, Rubbermaid products, but you can see there's this little divider in there, which is really handy, and these are great for meal prep. So again, this is something where you could just line up 4 of these and just fill them all. We're gonna do one for right now. So to make this, our lunch, to make it ready to go to work with you, you're gonna start with about a 1/2 cup of rice in the bottom of your dish. So each one of these little containers is 1 cup. So you're gonna be basically using about half of it. All right, and then from there, you're going to add some of your chicken. So I went ahead and actually just kind of cubed up this chicken that I cooked a little bit ago. So I'm gonna put that right on top. Okay, and then from there, this is when you're going to add some of your cucumber salad, your tomatoes to taste, and some red onions to taste. So I'm gonna sprinkle some cucumbers on there. And again, you know, these non-starchy vegetables like cucumbers, you really can't eat too much. So if you like cucumbers, then, you know, go crazy with those. Then we're gonna put some tomatoes on top. I'm not a huge onion fan. I like a little bit for flavor, typically cooked, so I'm just gonna go light with the onions. But again, you can do that to taste. And then from there, you're just gonna do a drizzle of that tzatziki right on top. This is great to also use as a veggie dip. When I make this, sometimes I'll make like a double or triple batch, and then for your veggies, those shortcuts that you can pick up, it's a great dipper to do with those as well. Okay, so here we have the main part of our lunch. Now we have another little compartment off to the side, and that's where you can toss in your fruit. You know, we have our color, we have our whole grain, which is our rice, Our color being our cucumbers, our tomatoes, we have our protein, which is that chicken, and if we just wanted to put some blackberries on the side, we're good to go. So we have a great lunch option that this is actually best, in my opinion, eaten cold. So you can put the lid on, stack those into your refrigerator, and then just grab them as you walk out the door to work. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned up and then we'll go through our second and third lunch ideas. For our second recipe, we are going to be making savory ham and cheese lunchbox muffins. So this recipe is something that will be a really good option again for a make ahead because these also freeze really well. So for these make ahead lunch muffins, we are going to need some milk. I got this Fairlife fat-free milk here. So the Fairlife, it actually takes out the lactose, so this is a lower carb milk option. I have some ham, some 2% cheese. So I opted for the 2% cheese because this skims that saturated fat, so it's a lower fat option. The other thing you're gonna need 3 eggs, some flour, you're going to need some shredded carrots and also some shredded zucchini. Now, just as a big time saver, I got the frozen bags of vegetables, and I'm just using those. If you wanted to get the fresh and shred it, absolutely you could do that. So I'm just gonna walk you through what you do for this recipe. Okay, so for this, I already have 2 cups of flour measured into my bowl here. From there, we're going to add 1 cup of our shredded carrots. Again, those carrots, this is gonna be that fiber aspect with all these veggies in here. That's our color for this meal. We're gonna do 1/2 cup of the shredded zucchini. The zucchini I got were actually spirals, so these are like zoodles that you would maybe replace like a whole wheat noodle with. So what I did is I actually got those out. I squeezed the excess water out of them because we don't want all the extra water. And then I just gave those a chop. So I'm gonna mix that. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and add, don't let those eggs roll away, 1 cup of cubed ham. This is the ham I used. I like this ham because you can kind of see any of the fat that's in there, so you can trim around that to make sure it's as lean as possible. We're going to add 1/4 cup of that 2%, that low-fat cheddar cheese. And stir that again. And then you're gonna add your liquid. Okay, so this is actually self-rising flour. Doing a flour blend would also be a great idea, maybe like 1/2 self-rising flour, 1/2 whole wheat flour to, again, increase that, that fiber content just a little bit. Okay, then we're going to add our milk. I'm gonna do 3 eggs. I'm not used to getting to do the eggs. Usually my kids always want to do the eggs for me. Okay, let me get this out of the way here. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to do just a little bit of olive oil. We're doing that olive oil in place of butter. So anytime you can sub out a hard, healthy fat for a fat that is more higher in saturated fat like butter, it's gonna be a great trade. Okay, so then last here, we're going to give this a really good stir, and then you can add salt and pepper to taste. So we get all that stirred. I went ahead and prepared my pan here. I sprayed that. You don't want any sticking. You can use muffin tins. You can use mini muffin tins. I'm using this little square tin pan here. And then, once you have a good stir on that, what you're gonna do is just put this into those little tins, and then you're gonna bake it at 320 for 30 minutes. So this is a lower heat. Again, nothing in here really needs to cook other than that egg mixture. So You can also get really creative about what vegetables you want to put in here. So we did the carrots and the zucchini, but you know, you could do broccoli florets, you could do, I mean, really anything, you know, onions, bell peppers, lots of options there. So then you're just going to go through and fill each little muffin cup, like so. And then you'll let those bake. So in terms of turning this into your lunch meal, into that power lunch, all you would need to do from here is actually pair it with a little more color. So if you were going to pack 1 or 2 of these and then pair those with maybe a single serve hummus and some of your shortcut vegetables, you have a lunch that's ready to go. You could also do some shortcut veggies and a few berries, and again, you're having your protein, which is both the egg and the ham. You have your whole grain, which is going to be that flour. You have your color, which is the veggie in there, and then the veggies you're adding as the side dish. So super simple, something you could do ahead of time and have ready to go. Okay, now our last dish, I call it the no excuse lunch prep because it's that easy that there's really no excuses not to do it. So for this last one, and I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of a go-to around here, especially when it's been a crazy weekend or busy with activities and I'm not really ready for the week ahead yet. So for this one, all you need is really 3 things, so it's that easy. You need a rotisserie chicken. I like to get the rotisserie chicken breast because again, there's no dark meat, so it's all that lean white meat. And then all you're gonna have to do is get the skin, remove that skin, and then kind of basically remove all the bones as well and give it a rough chop, and then you have your chicken ready to go. And then you pick a chopped salad kit that you like. So I really like this sunflower crisp salad kit. I think this is a pretty good one. So from there, you basically just assemble the salad minus the dressing. Something that I like to do with these is actually get an extra bag of like greens, so either like spinach or romaine, something that you like, and mix it in so there's even more of those veggies in there. You're going to add all the toppings here, so basically just cut and go. Doesn't get any easier than that. So we have this, we have our cheese, we have some dried edamame in here. Gives it a nice little crunch. There we go. So we've added everything except for the dressing. And then for the final step of this lunch prep, you need a whole wheat wrap. So this is where at the beginning when I was suggesting maybe doing like your whole wheat pita or even the carb down flat out wraps would be another good choice. Today we're using these Olay high fiber wraps. 1 tortilla here is 50 calories, it's 15 grams of carb, and we have 11 grams of fiber. That is super filling. The more fiber, again, the more filling that meal is. And then it's just simple, oops, got 2 there, don't need 2. Simple assembly. So we start with our wrap, and give the salad a toss. Now, because this is going to make more than 1 meal, you don't want to add the dressing too early. So from here, you're just going to do some of your salad. We all know how to make wraps here. And then do a little bit of chicken. And then last but not least, just dress whatever you're making for that day. You can use the rest of it when you make your wrap maybe for the next day. Again, we're just going to roll it up, put it in your meal prep container, pair it with your fruit, and you have a simple meal there. If you want to mix it up so you're doing some different things, or maybe you're making this meal prep for a couple different people, you could always do some different varieties, like maybe the Asian chopped salad kit would be a good one, or even the Caesar. Another way to lighten it up even further would maybe be to think about getting a lemon and squeezing that over to further extend that dressing as well. All right, thank you so much for joining me in Pack a Power Lunch. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, your Hy-Vee dietitians are here to make your lives easier, healthier, and happier. Have a great day.